Good morning, and we begin today with a major breaking news update from the front lines of the war in Ukraine, where intense fighting is unfolding across multiple regions as Russian forces press forward with renewed offensives, while Ukrainian troops respond with coordinated counterattacks aimed at slowing Moscow's momentum and defending critical positions. According to the latest assessments from Western intelligence, Ukrainian military officials, and independent battlefield analysts. Over the past several days, Russian units have intensified assaults in eastern and northeastern Ukraine, focusing particularly on areas around Kupiansk, Lyman, Avdiivka, and parts of the Zaporizhia front, using heavy artillery barrages, guided aerial bombs, drone swarms, and mechanized infantry advances in what appears to be a deliberate effort to stretch Ukrainian defenses and force Kiev to commit reserves earlier than planned. While Ukrainian commanders report that although Russian forces have made limited tactical gains in some sectors, those advances have come at a significant cost in manpower and equipment, with Ukrainian artillery, anti-tank systems, and precision drone strikes inflicting sustained losses on advancing units. In the eastern Donetsk region, Russian troops are pushing hard near Avdiivka, a city that has become a symbol of prolonged resistance, where Ukrainian defenders have established layered defensive positions designed to absorb repeated assaults and then strike back. And while Russian forces have attempted to encircle Ukrainian positions from the north and south, Ukrainian counterattacks have reportedly reopened key supply routes, preventing a full encirclement and keeping defenses intact for now. Further north near Kupiansk and along the Oskil River line, Russian forces are attempting to exploit perceived weaknesses with repeated assaults supported by armor and artillery, but Ukrainian officials say those attacks have largely been contained through mobile defense tactics that involve tactical withdrawals followed by counterstrikes once Russian units overextend. Meanwhile, on the southern front in Zaporizhia, Ukrainian forces continue targeted counterattacks against Russian logistics hubs, ammunition depots, and command centers using long-range strikes and drone operations, signaling that Kiev's strategy remains focused not only on holding ground, but on steadily degrading Russia's ability to sustain large-scale offensive operations. One of the defining features of this phase of the war is the unprecedented scale of drone warfare, with both sides deploying reconnaissance and attack drones that have turned the battlefield into a constantly monitored environment where movement in daylight is extremely risky, allowing Ukrainian forces to identify Russian troop concentrations early and strike before assaults fully develop, while Russia continues to rely heavily on volume of firepower to offset tactical shortcomings. Ukrainian air defense units remain under pressure as Russia continues missile and drone attacks against frontline positions and rear infrastructure, aiming to disrupt logistics, communications, and civilian morale, though Ukrainian officials report high interception rates thanks to Western-supplied air defense systems, even as they warn that ammunition stocks remain a serious concern. Politically and strategically, these developments are being closely watched this morning in Washington and across NATO capitals, where officials see the current fighting as a test of endurance, measuring whether Ukraine can sustain defensive and counteroffensive operations while awaiting additional military aid, and whether Russia can maintain the pace of its offensives without exhausting its forces. U.S. defense officials note that while Russia has mobilized large numbers of troops and expanded domestic weapons production, the quality of many newly deployed units remains uneven, with battlefield reports indicating repeated frontal assaults that result in high casualties for limited territorial gains. Ukrainian leadership says the war is entering a critical phase, acknowledging Russia's numerical advantages while emphasizing Ukraine's adaptability, battlefield innovation, and continued international support. Civilians near the front lines continue to suffer as shelling intensifies and evacuations expand, with humanitarian groups warning of worsening conditions as winter approaches and energy infrastructure remains under threat. Analysts caution that while daily headlines focus on small territorial shifts, the broader reality is a grinding, high-intensity conflict where success is measured by sustainability, logistics, and morale. As this morning begins, Ukrainian forces remain in control of key defensive positions. Russian advances appear limited and costly, and Ukrainian counterattacks continue across multiple sectors, underscoring that despite immense pressure, Ukraine remains resilient. It's a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. However little known the feelings or views of such a man may be on his first entering a neighborhood, this truth is so well fixed in the minds of the surrounding families that he is considered as the rightful property of someone or other of their daughters.